Many people notice the same strange thing in winter. You leave the house dressed warmly, the weather outside feels manageable, but once you sit in the car, you start feeling cold. Not immediately, usually after 10 or 15 minutes. The heater may be on, the jacket is still zipped, yet the sense of warmth slowly disappears. This happens because a car creates very specific conditions for the body. Inside the car, you are sitting still, pressed against the seat, surrounded by materials that interact with heat in ways we rarely think about. Warmth in a car doesn't work the same way as warmth outdoors or even indoors at home. The fabrics you wear suddenly matter more than their thickness or how cozy they look. What keeps you warm while walking often fails when you are seated and motionless. To understand why, we need to look at how sitting changes the way your body holds heat. Why sitting still changes how warmth works. When you are moving, your body constantly produces heat. Walking, standing, even small movements help circulation and generate warmth that clothing can trap. In a car, that process almost stops. Your muscles relax, circulation slows slightly, and heat production drops. Warmth becomes something fragile, easier to lose and harder to maintain. At the same time, large parts of your body are pressed directly against the seat and backrest. This contact flattens clothing layers and pushes out the air pockets that normally help insulate you. Fabrics that rely on volume or loft suddenly lose their advantage. What looked thick and warm while standing no longer works the same way when compressed. Because of this, warmth in a car depends less on bulk and more on stability. Fabrics that can hold heat close to the body without relying on movement perform better. When clothes fail in the car, it's often because they were designed for activity, not stillness. What happens to your body in a cold car environment? Inside a cold or slowly warming car, your body shifts into a mild energy-saving mode. Heat is directed toward vital organs, while hands, legs, and lower back cool down faster. This is especially noticeable during longer drives, when the body has no reason to stay active. The materials around you also play a role. Car seats absorb heat continuously, especially through the back and thighs. If your clothing allows heat to escape easily, the seat becomes a constant drain. You may not feel a sharp cold sensation, instead warmth just fades away. This is why people often feel cold even with the heater on. The issue isn't air temperature, but heat loss through contact and inactivity. Fabrics that manage heat loss slowly and maintain a stable microclimate close to the skin help counteract this effect. In a car, warmth isn't about adding more layers. It's about preventing heat from quietly leaving your body while you sit still. Why bulky, puffy fabrics fail when you sit in a car? Many winter fabrics are designed with one main idea in mind. Volume equals warmth. Puffy jackets, thick knits, and fluffy layers work well when you're standing or moving outdoors. But inside a car, that logic often breaks down. The moment you sit, all that volume gets compressed between your body and the seat. When insulation is flattened, the trapped air that was supposed to keep you warm disappears. What's left is fabric that looks thick but no longer insulates effectively. Instead of holding warmth around your body, it allows heat to escape sideways and downward into the seat. Another problem is uneven insulation. Bulky fabrics tend to bunch up, creating warm spots and cold spots at the same time. Your shoulders might feel fine, while your lower back or thighs slowly cool down. This imbalance makes the overall sensation of cold stronger, even if part of your body is technically well insulated. In a car, warmth depends less on how thick something looks and more on how well it performs under pressure. Fabrics that rely purely on loft often lose their advantage the moment you sit down. Thin base fabrics. Why they often work better in the car. Thin fabrics don't look impressive, but they behave very differently when you're seated. Instead of relying on volume, they work by staying close to the body and creating a stable microclimate right at the skin. This becomes especially important in a car, where movement is limited. Because thin base fabrics aren't easily compressed, they keep doing their job even when pressed against the seat. Heat loss slows down instead of accelerating. The fabric moves with the body, not against it, which helps maintain a more even temperature over time. Another advantage is consistency. Thin base layers don't create sudden bursts of warmth followed by cooling. They don't feel dramatic, they feel steady. In a car, that steadiness matters more than instant comfort. It's the difference between feeling okay for 5 minutes and staying comfortable for the entire drive. This is why people often feel warmer in simpler, thinner layers while driving. The fabric isn't fighting the position of the body, it's designed for it. Natural versus synthetic fabrics when sitting in a cold car. Natural and synthetic fabrics behave very differently once you're seated in a cold car. Natural fibers like wool, cotton, or certain blends tend to manage heat in a slower, more stable way. They don't trap warmth aggressively, but they also don't release it too quickly. This makes them feel calmer and more balanced over time, especially when the body isn't moving much. Synthetic fabrics are often designed for performance and activity. They respond quickly to changes in temperature and moisture, which is useful during movement, but less helpful when sitting still. In a car, synthetics can feel warm at first, and then suddenly colder, especially where the fabric is compressed against the seat. Another difference is how these materials interact with moisture. Even without visible sweat, the body releases small amounts of moisture in a warm car. Natural fibers absorb and distribute it gently, while synthetics tend to push it away or trap it unevenly. This can create brief warmth followed by cooling, which makes the cold feel more noticeable. For longer drives, stability matters more than reactivity. Fabrics that change slowly tend to feel warmer overall, even if they don't feel dramatic at first. Why some fabrics lose warmth when pressed against the seat? Contact changes everything. When fabric is pressed between your body and the car seat, heat transfer speeds up. Materials that insulate well in open air may suddenly become poor at retaining warmth once they're under constant pressure. Some fabrics allow heat to pass through them easily when compressed, effectively feeding warmth into the seat instead of keeping it near the body. This is especially common in smooth or tightly woven materials that lack internal structure once flattened. Over time, this creates a steady heat drain, particularly through the back, hips, and thighs. Other fabrics are better at resisting this loss. They maintain small, stable layers of air, even under pressure, or slow down heat transfer through their structure. These materials don't stop heat loss completely, but they make it gradual instead of constant. In a car, warmth isn't just about insulation. It's about what happens at the points of contact. Fabrics that perform well under pressure help prevent that quiet, creeping cold that appears during longer drives. Air layers. When trapped air helps, and when it works against you. Air is one of the best natural insulators, but only when it stays still. Many winter fabrics rely on trapped air to keep warmth close to the body. While standing or moving, this works well. But in a car, air behaves differently. Sitting compresses clothing and forces air to move out of the spaces where it was meant to stay. Loose fabrics with large air pockets lose warmth quickly once that air starts circulating or escaping. Instead of acting as insulation, the air becomes unstable and carries heat away from the body. This is why some clothes feel warm at first, then suddenly ineffective after a few minutes of sitting. Smaller, more controlled air layers behave better. Fabrics that trap thin, stable pockets of air close to the skin are less affected by pressure and position. They don't depend on volume, so sitting doesn't destroy their insulating effect. In a car, still air matters more than fluffy air. Warmth lasts longer when air stays where it's supposed to be. Why comfort in the car is about temperature balance, not maximum warmth. Many people dress for the car as if they need maximum insulation. But inside a vehicle, too much warmth can be just as uncomfortable as too little. Overheating causes sweating, even slightly, and moisture quickly turns warmth into cold once the body cools down again. The goal in a car isn't extreme warmth. It's balance. Fabrics that heat the body slowly and evenly help avoid sudden temperature swings. When warmth builds gradually, the body doesn't need to compensate as much, and comfort lasts longer. This is why breathable, stable fabrics often feel better during long drives than heavy winter layers. They allow the body to settle into a comfortable temperature, instead of constantly adjusting. In a car, comfort comes from consistency. The best fabrics don't force warmth. They maintain it quietly while you sit still. How seat materials quietly influence how warm you feel. Car seats are not neutral. The material you sit on constantly interacts with your body heat, often more than the air temperature inside the cabin. Some seat surfaces absorb heat quickly, while others reflect or slow down heat transfer. Over time, this interaction can either support warmth or gradually pull it away from you. Seats with dense foam and synthetic coverings tend to absorb and hold heat, acting like a slow heat sink. When your clothing allows heat to pass through easily, the seat continuously draws warmth from your back and legs. This doesn't feel dramatic. It feels like comfort slowly fading. Natural fiber seat covers or layered surfaces tend to interfere with this process, slowing heat loss slightly. This is why the same outfit can feel fine in one car and cold in another. Clothing and seat materials work together as a system. Fabrics that resist direct heat transfer help reduce the seat's cooling effect, especially during longer drives when contact is constant and unavoidable. Choosing fabrics for the car is about reducing heat loss, not adding heat. The biggest mistake people make when dressing for cold car rides is trying to add more warmth instead of limiting heat loss. More layers, thicker fabrics, and bulkier clothing often increase compression and imbalance rather than comfort. In a seated position, the body doesn't need extra heat, it needs protection. Fabrics that stay effective under pressure, manage moisture quietly, and maintain a stable microclimate close to the skin perform better than those designed for movement or outdoor exposure. When clothing works in the car, it doesn't feel especially warm. It feels neutral, steady, and forgettable. There's no cycle of heating up and cooling down, no constant adjustment. The right fabrics simply stop warmth from slipping away while you sit still. In cold weather driving, that quiet consistency is what true comfort actually looks like.